Okay, kids, last time we finished chapter 2. Now, let's quickly do chapter 3. And like chapter 2, it's going to be split into 2 halves. Okay? Okay, here we go. Welcome to Dictionopolis. You must excuse my gruff conduct, the watchdog said, after they'd been driving for some time. But you see, it's traditional for watchdogs to be ferocious. Milo was so relieved at having escaped the doldrums that he assured the dog that he bore him no ill will, and, in fact, was very grateful for the assistance. Bear ill will 就是心怀怨恨 ill will 不好的意图，心里头抱着 boar 就是熊那个字哈。那边 OK ferocious 就是很凶狠的。Splendid, shouted the watchdog. I am very pleased. I'm sure we'll be great friends for the rest of the trip. You may call me Tuck. That's a strange name for a dog who goes tick, tick, tick all day, said Milo. Why didn't they call you? Don't say it, gasped the dog, and Milo could see a tear well up in his eye. Well up, well 就是眼睛在泛着泪光了，眼泪都跑上来了。Well up 的意思就像一口井一样，那个水慢慢流上来。I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, said Milo, not meaning to hurt his feelings. That's all right, said the dog, getting hold of himself. It's an old story and a sad one, but I can tell it to you. When my brother was born, the first pup in the family, my parents were overjoyed and immediately named him Tick, in expectation of the sound they were sure he would make. On first winding him, they discovered to their horror that instead of going tick, 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 he went tock, 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 tock. They rushed to the Hall of Records to change the name, but too late. It had already been officially inscribed, and nothing could be done. When I arrived, they were determined not to make the same mistake twice. And since it seemed illogical that all their children would make the same sound, they named me Tuck, of course. They named me Tuck. Of course, you know the rest. My brother is called Tick because he goes tock, 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 tock. And I'm called Tuck because I go tick, 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 tick. And both of us are forever burdened with the wrong names. My parents were so overwrought that they gave up having any more children and devoted their lives to doing good work among the poor and the hungry. 这个很戏剧化哈。有没有生字？没有。But how did you become a watchdog? Interjected Milo, hoping to change the subject, as Tuck was sobbing quite loudly now. Interject, 打断，插话。That, he said, rubbing a paw in his eyes, is also traditional. My family have always been watchdogs, from father to son, almost since time began. You see, he continued, beginning to feel better, once there was no time at all, and people found it very inconvenient. They never knew whether they were eating lunch or dinner, and there were always missing trains. So time was invented to help them keep track of the day and get places when they should. When they began to count all the time that was available, which was 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, and 24 hours in a day and 365 days in a year, it seemed as if there was much more than could ever be used. It seemed as if there was much more than could ever be used. If there is so much of it, it couldn't be very valuable, was the general opinion, and it soon fell into disrepute. People wasted it and even gave it away, Then we were given the job of seeing that no one wasted time again, he said, sitting up proudly. It's hard work, but a noble calling. For you see, and now he was standing on the seat, one foot on the windshield, shouting with an arm outstretched. It is our most valuable possession, more precious than diamonds. It marches on. It and tide wait for no man. And at that point in the speech, the car hit a bump in the road, and the watchdog collapsed in a heap on the front seat with his alarm again ringing furiously. 搞了半天他是取错名字了，但是你们应该已经听懂了，没有问题，我就继续了。At that point in this, are you all right? 他们撞到了地上有一个 bump in the road， 然后他就摔到他自己的椅子里面。Grunted the Tuck, sorry to get carried away, but I think you get the point. As they drove along, Tuck continued to explain the importance of time, quoting the old philosophers and poets and illustrating each point with gestures that brought him perilously close to tumbling headlong from the speeding automobile. Perilously, in peril 就是有危险的，所以这个字就是他每次他那么激动的在演讲，就是非常危险的又要摔倒了。摔 from 啊，就是摔出这个车子了。From the speeding automobile. Before long, they saw in the distance the towers and flags of Dictionopolis sparkling in the sunshine. 哇，终于看到了。And in a few moments, they reached the Great Wall and stood at the gateway to the city. Roared the gateman, clearing his throat and snapping smartly to attention. Snap to attention 就是突然就立正了哈。Attention 就是立正。This is Dictionopolis, a happy kingdom, advantageously located in the foothills of confusion and caressed by gentle breezes from the sea of knowledge. Today, by royal proclamation, is market day. Have you come to buy or sell? I beg your pardon, said Milo. Buy or sell? Buy or sell? Repeated the gateman impatiently. Which is it? You must have come here for some reason. 看门的人哈。Located in the foothills of confusion， 这个都是大写，所以有一个地名叫做confusion 的山脚下，混乱的山脚下 ，caressed 轻微的抚摸 by the gentle breezes from the sea of knowledge， 它就是叙述它的地理位置。Royal proclamation 就是今天是就是皇宫的宣告，是市场天，就是今天是做买卖的。I beg your pardon, said Milo. 这边念过了。Well, Come on, if you don't have a reason, you must at least have an explanation, or certainly an excuse, interrupted the gateman. Milo shook his head. Very serious, the gateman said, shaking his head also. You can't get in without a reason. He thought for a moment and then continued. Wait a minute, maybe I have an old one you can use. He took a battered suitcase from the gatehouse and began to rummage busily through it, mumbling to himself, No, this won't do. No, this is fine, he cried triumphantly, holding up a small medallion on a chain. He dusted it off and engraved on one side were the words, Why not? Battered 就是已经被敲得烂烂的一个皮箱，然后它这里面翻来翻去的， 然后 mumbling to himself 自言自语。这样，然后找一个 medallion 就是一个像一个奖牌一样的东西，连着一个铁链。It says, "Why not? That's a good reason. That's a good reason for almost anything. A bit used." 用很多啦，但是还是可以用。A bit used, perhaps, but still quite serviceable. And with that, he placed it around Milo's neck, pushed back the heavy iron gate, bowed low, and motioned them into the city. I wonder what that market will be like, thought Milo as they drove through the gates. But before there was time for an answer, they had driven into an immense square, crowded with long lines of stalls heaped with merchandise and decorated in gay-colored bunting. Overhead, a large banner proclaimed, "Welcome to the Word Market." 上半段读到这里，我们下一次来读下半段，应该没有算错吧？差不多 ，OK， 马上读下半段。